guys are, but let's just step back in time before Tucker and Dale versus Evil. Let's talk a bit about these men, okay? Tyler wasn't in Firefly. You guys are high. Come on. No. So okay. So we know this guy. He was in Firefly. I think it was.
Yes.
But he's not a leaf anymore, okay? He's alive, it's okay. But Tyler, I want to talk to you for a second, buddy.
Okay.
Reaper. Let's talk about Reaper for a second. So is that what sort of prepared you for this? Is that what sort of got people on the, hey, I think this guy's really funny and he can do horror too?
She did, didn't she? I caught that, but I was going to let it go. This guy's not going to let it go. It's former militia. The recognition of my ability to play sort of comedy and high stakes, I guess you would call it.
That started long before Reaper.
Ask my mom. That started the moment I shot out of her and landed on the floor of the hospital. Yeah, no, I think Reaper was like the first time, even though some people might remember a show I did called Invasion. Does anybody remember Invasion?
Yes.
So Invasion may have been genuinely the first time when people were like, oh, he can play some dramatic, he's got some dramatic chops. But Reaper definitely set the tone for, I think, what people sort of associate with me and the characters I play now, for sure.
Actually, with Invasion, you played with another HorrorHound regular, Nathan Basil.
Man, Nathan showed me that movie, Behind the Mask. I was blown away. Has anybody seen that?
Yeah.
If you haven't, go see it because his performance in it is unreal. He's one of the most underrated actors
Absolutely.
out there right now. And that movie's great. Yeah, Nathan,
Working on a sequel right now.
I heard. We may have some news in that regard.
Really? We'll save that. We'll save
Save
that.
that.
Just a second. Okay.
Yeah, he's great. Nathan's great.
Now this guy right here, obviously, I'm going to assume when people see you, they're like, you're Wash. Is that what you get for the most part from Firefly?
Yeah. I mean, yes. Usually,
Not me.
I feel like I don't. The people who come up and say hello to me tend to be Firefly fans because Firefly fans are very committed to Firefly. It's not just a passing thing. It's
What are they calling it? Brown jackets? Brown coats?
Brown coats. So that they feel, so they want to come up and say hi, and that's great. That's a good thing. So it tends to be that, yes.
So taking it, both of you get harassed a lot on the street. Does that happen, or?
Well, I mean, for me personally, not as much. Whenever I hang out with Alan, it's a bit of an annoyance, to be honest.
We live in LA. Nobody, it's like, they see you like, and somebody
Yeah,
like
we're
really
not that
famous is
exciting.
just there.
Yeah. But Alan definitely, I would say, gets it from. I mean, he's got so many iconic characters, from like Pirate Steve to like Robot to obviously Wash. The list goes on and on and on. All the way back to Wonder Boys, everything. He's got
All my porn work.
All his porn work. I don't know if you guys are familiar with porn. His legs. He's got very short legs.
Freakishly short legs.
So obviously Tucker and Dale is what brought you guys together to this romance that we have here. Did you guys know each other before then? Did you only meet in the roles?
I always relish this question because I literally, when I found out Alan was cast, I kind of like shit my pants. I was like, oh my God, we've been through the ringer with a couple other actors that I was like, we were lukewarm on, but you end up in this battle for actors that you don't actually want. I don't know if there are any filmmakers out there. Okay. You end up with these lists of people that you don't really want, but for some reason the financier, who's like some 80-year-old man on a yacht, who's like, well, get Denzel Washington to do it. You deal with that, and then Alan came in and just like, I was completely floored that he would even do the movie, and he showed up and I lost my mind. And I was like, hey man, I'm a big fan of yours. And he was like, very honestly, was like, I don't know who you are. But I'm really happy to be here. The script is great. I was like, oh, yeah, That's a good place to start. Whatever.
Did I really say that?
Maybe I might be paraphrasing a bit, but that's how I remember it. It was soul crushing. Look at us now.
You know what? A piece of trivia we just talked about. What was the invasion?
Yeah.
I auditioned for the role that you got.
Dave Groves.
Yes, I auditioned for that role.
Wow. You didn't get it. Oh, sucker. I got to be on a short-lived TV series. Another one, I should say.
So you beat me out for a role, so you know.
So that evens it out then.
There you go.
I don't think so.
Soul crushing is okay at this point, you know. So obviously, your actors, I guess, is why I'm going to assume you got along so well, or is it because you're both nice? I really can't figure it out yet.
Some people you get along with, some people you don't. We get along. We approached it similarly. We both really liked the script, and there was when you first get a script, you kind of go through the script one page at a time and have questions with the director, and we had the same questions. We were both interested in the same parts of the script. Like, I feel like this could be a little bit better, or this could be a little bit softer, or whatever, and we were just on the same page.
There was a lot. It was mostly tonal questions, I think, in the beginning. It was never like there may have been a couple lines here or there that we wanted to, like, sort of zhuzh up or whatever, but mostly it was Alan and I were just concerned with the tone of the piece, right. Which I think is what sets it apart. I think that's why people like it, because of the tone. We end up getting that tone, but yeah, we got along right away. Genuinely, I mean, I think it's worth mentioning though that there is nobody else in Calgary that I wanted to hang out with when we shot the movie. So it was me. It was basically me and Alan or nobody.
Calgary is a hopping town, I've heard. All of Canada is really. I mean, you would know, Tyler. But coming into this, were either of you horror fans before? I mean, in a sense, this is obviously more of a comedy than it is a horror film. I mean, equal parts. But were either of you horror fans before that?
Well, that's a bit of a trap, that question, in front of this crowd. Let Alan take that one.
No. I'm very afraid. I'm an afraid person. And it really helped me out for Tucker and Dale versus Evil. It served me, my fear. It was available for me right there to be afraid with all that death around. I just watched a 3-minute horror movie online. 3 minutes. I had to stop it a minute in, get my girlfriend to watch it with me, and then still was like this.
And your dog.
Oh my God. I don't need to be scared. I'm already.
When we were shooting the movie, Alan went and rented some very classic and some not so classic horror movies, like, he went and got like The Hills Have Eyes and like Wrong Turn 3, I believe, which is not good. No. And he was like, I can't watch these, you just watch them. He was like, I watched one scene where a guy R's a woman with like a sword or something, and then sticks like a pipe through her feet, like through her like Achilles heel, and like bone marrow is inside the pipe. It was gruesome. Awesome. And to be honest, I'm not a huge fan of that gratuitous kind of stuff, but I feel like when it's done with a certain wink, which I think a lot of great horror movies are done with. Obviously it's not supposed to be something you're going to like aspire to do or be. If it's done with that wink, which I think, then I love it. I am a big fan. Yeah.
If you go to Twitter, Alan Tudyk, I posted the link to that little 3-minute horror movie. So that's what scares me. That kind of crap. It's just sort of, it's not gory at all. It's just like, what is the creepy thing in the dark? What is that thing? And I'm going to be attacked.
He's afraid. Yeah, he's a big
Yes, I'm very afraid.
It wasn't a trap, I promise. It's leading into this next
I'm still afraid.
Well, we answered honestly, I believe, so, we got through the trap.
Absolutely. Because the thing about Tucker and Dale, I'm sure you fans out there can agree, is it is a deconstruction film, and it takes away the wrong turn films that say, here's these horrible people and this is what's going on. It's all just a misunderstanding. So coming in, those are some boobs. There's some boobs up here right now.
Yeah, have you guys seen this Do You Want to See Me Naked flyer that has been passed around? A recent acquaintance of mine, Brian, and his wife Ellie are doing this screening tonight at 10:10 called Time to Kill. So if you guys are available, go watch it. I'm going to be there. I'll hang out, I'll have a drink with you. Let's just do it, okay? Show some support. Sorry, that
So
was
what I
like
was
preemptive,
saying-
but we'll do it.
No, just talking about the fact that it's kind of a deconstruction film. So this is actually kind of a brainy horror movie in a sense. And, you know, were there a lot of horror nerds on set? Like, the people making these, were they horror fans, or is it just people getting together making a movie for the most part? I just wasn't sure if the people making it are horror fans. I was going to assume.
I always wait to see how fast or slow Alan breaks
He's making the faces, and I'm really not sure what's
He didn't
going
even
on.
move.
I feel like I'm mortally wounding him.
I'll take that one. Eli and Morgan, the writers of the film and director of the film, are not big horror aficionados by any means. I think everyone knows and recognizes that we made a comedy film that has, fortunately for us, been sort of adopted by the horror community. We never set out to make a horror film. It's not horrifying, you know. There's some gore in there, sure, which you guys are more than accustomed to seeing, but we've made a comedy first and foremost that is appealing to the horror genre and the masses, I think. But it was definitely written and helmed by people who were more skewed towards making a comedy, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, so Dale, Tyler, going into this character he's kind of, you know, he's kind of a bump. Not bump.
Watch
that's
what you
not the
say
word I'm looking for. How was it for you being such a smart dude, having to sort of play down in a sense? You know, he's a different guy, Dale is, you know? He's dumb as a stump, but at the same time, he remembers everything he hears.
He's an odd duck, for sure. I think for both of us, really, even though like Tucker got to be like the smarter of the two, which does not necessarily put him in genius category, let's be honest. But the thing was that from an acting standpoint, a personal standpoint, Eli, Craig, the director and the writer, really did have to stay on me to not, because Alan is such an amazing, like, quick wit. No, he is. Obviously, you see it in the movie. His wit and his improvs are just like, they're what make the movie, in my opinion. And I you know, as an improv actor, I was like, I had to literally battle with Eli on a daily basis to be like, just let me shine, man. I'm a fucking peacock, you know, like, let me go. And he was like, no, just trust me. I really, your character is too base. He was careful to never say dumb, which I thought was smart, but so you're too base, and he kept saying things like, if you make a joke after Alan makes that joke, it's like putting a hat on a hat. And that was sort of the thing, you know, and that's a common industry term that I usually hate, but in that instance, I was like, yeah, you're right. I don't, if Dale is smart enough to comment on what's happening in the picture, it ruins that tone that Alan and I were trying to guard so closely.
And you found stuff that, like, where we're explaining to the cop, where, you know, I got this, you know, from the beginning. You know, I got this. And you're like, all right. And then you proceed to explain it with me. So it's not just I got this, and it's all, now see what we did, all right? yeah, we came in over here.
Over there?
They've been attacking us all over.
All the property.
From right over there, there's one in a ditch.
So, you know, I just did that a lot with Alan. I just sort of like trailed behind him by like a nanosecond.
Yep.
But no, and that's not to say that there aren't ad-libs in the film from Dale, certainly, but we had to really be careful of which ones we let in there, because, you know, you just can't be smart, or it ruins the facade, I guess.
Joie de vivre.
The joie de vivre, the raison d'etre, if you will.
Now, are there any of the improvs or ad-libs that made it to screen, the stuff that we've seen, or anything offhand that you can think of that made it, that you guys just added on the day?
Tons, man. They hate my face. That's one.
Yeah.
Alan has, I'll bring the finger sandwiches.
Oh yeah! I was pushing the finger sandwiches joke. Come on, Eli. The finger sandwiches joke.
I think there's one in there which is my favorite that nobody really recognizes, but when I'm referring to evil, Chad, I gave one to Alan where he calls him collar pop.
Oh yeah,
Because he popped his collar like the whole movie. And he says, I'll bring the finger sandwiches, collar pop, or something like that. And I was like, and nobody knows, like, no, collar pop, what is he talking about?
No, it ended up being the other one, the curve.
Oh, perm, body weight, body perm.
Body perm.
Because okay, here's the story. When I was 9 to 11 years old, my mother decided that my brother, Kyle Labine, does anybody know Kyle Labine?
Woo!
He's here for Freddy vs. Jason, whatever. He was like a child star in Canada, which is like the biggest child star that you can be. He was on like Anna Grant Gables and shit, you know what I mean? So he got a perm when he was like 9, no, not even, he was like 6, I guess. And my mom was like, well, they like kids with curly hair. So you and your brothers are getting perms from now on. So I got perms regularly, like triannually from the age of 9 till I was 11. And they were always called a body wave or a body perm. It was never like a tight, like we don't want like a fro. Just want that natural tussled curly look, you know? Even though it was a perm.
Tyler's good at coming up with words though also and phrases, more than any person I've ever met. Right? You coin
Yes, I totally am.
You coin phrases. I still use, that's the shit's tits, man.
Oh, that's the shit. I figured like, yeah, if you're gonna say something's the shit or it's the tits, I'm like, put them together.
It's the shit's tits.
It's the tits that grow off that shit. You know? It's like if you saw a pile of shit with tits on it, you'd be like, that's awesome.
But how far have you come? I mean, you started off.
You see shitty tits. It's a fine line. Again, it's tough. It's a tough one. Yeah.
You started off crushing your soul. Now you're like his favorite person. That's got to be something.
We do have a real affection for one another. Yes.
I mean, what I was trying to say earlier before I fangirled all over myself and got all excited up here, sorry, is, you know, you guys play so well off of each other, and what I was trying to say is, you know, it's obviously not just acting. At some point, you actually have to have an affection for the other person, and you guys really do seem to be the best of friends at this point, unless you're just acting right now, and in that case, you're really good.
You'll never know.
Kaiser Soze. Alan's the real
Well,
Kaiser
Alan
Soze.
isn't raised the mic once again, so I'll take that one. Yeah, Alan and I are best friends, right?
Call each other all the time?
Yeah. So, no, Alan and I, it is a very, sort of like, I don't want to call it a shitty part of my job, but it is a shitty part of our jobs where you're basically, we are obviously compensated and paid to like forge these relationships, but sometimes that's almost impossible. You meet some people where you just genuinely in life, organically, would never in a million years be associated with them or be friends or whatever. And that's no diss to them. It's just
out with them or,
yeah, or
lay with them.
a lot of laying that happens.
Laying with them.
Yeah.
But you have to for your job.
Exactly. And so when you have to lay with somebody, and it's actually a joy, it is a real treat. So yes, to answer your question, Alan and I, we organically hit it off. There was not a lot of like pushing for him and I to become buddies. And in fact, at one point we were, after like one day of shooting, we went like, hey, let's be real actors and let's go back to one of our apartments and let's like beat out the script. Let's like write out like what we're gonna do, and let's came up with our like last names and where we're from, and we did this whole thing. We were just like, at one point we were like, whoa, I never do this. We never do, like, we're being actors. Like, he's a Juilliard grad, right? I'm sort of this guy that's like just cobbling my career together as I go.
With a body wave.
With a body wave.
Canada.
And it just was like an instantaneous moment of recognition where we were like, oh, this is how it goes when it goes really well, right? This is when you meet someone and you are paid to forge that relationship and that friendship. This is when it.
Yeah, go for it.
This is it, people. This is close.
Oh my god, I know that you're drunk and that's why you keep yelling, just chill. It's okay, they're right here, they can hear you, I swear to god. Okay, so now...
What did he say? I didn't hear. What did he say?
No, he just keeps saying everything. So, Alan, you're gonna have to raise the mic now. I want to talk about Tucker for a second, all right? Tuck. So he's kind of the straight guy, no pun intended, considering the opening scene. But he's kind of the straight guy. How, is it hard to play against, not play against, but I mean, I'm sorry, I'm concentrating so hard on what Tyler's doing right now.
I took care of that.
Okay, all right. But to sort of play the straight guy against a character who's so sort of, you know, adorably aloof as Dale is?
No.
Next question.
It's good at those short answers,
Yeah,
yeah.
no, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, you know, when it's that frustrated, come on, you know, that.
Do you think that you were the straight man to me, though? I think I was the quill to you, honestly.
No, I never thought of it that way. I guess it all just plays. I don't know. I never break it down like that. You just sort of play it. You know, when it's the like I saw it to a bee's nest. Why? I just want to kill him. Why? What do you mean why? Did you on purpose? Jesus! That's fun, you know. You just play whatever your circumstances are. And Eli let me pour beer on my face, which I thought was awesome.
That was an ad lib as well.
I asked him beforehand. I was like, can I please? And I'm very accustomed to directors telling me no. Throughout my career, they usually tell me no. You're gonna pour beer in your face? No, we got you. Terrible idea. We don't have a second costume for you. We're gonna have to change you. We're gonna have to have towels.
Also,
on set.
we only had literally six free PBRs they gave us for the whole shoot. So they were like, don't waste one on your face.
Yeah.
I would have donated more if I knew what was happening.
We were in Canada. You can't get them in Canada. It was a very weird. You would thought they would have brought more than a.
I don't think
Canada,
so.
right?
Oh, Canada.
It's not the greatest. There's good beer around. It just wasn't that beer. But yeah, I'm very accustomed to directors going, that's too much. That's too much. And Eli, God bless him, was very open. So.
When you,
Never enough for Eli. It's never enough.
you had a ridiculous amount of physical comedy in this film. Now, it's going to sound silly to say, but did you have to prepare yourself? Did you have to do some workout before to get ready to run around with a chainsaw? All of that?
That is very hard to do, in fact. That chainsaw was heavy, and and it's kicking out as the exhaust. That's my complaining for the day. But I did a lot of hiking while I was there. I went up to that lake, Lake Louise. It was gorgeous. I went every weekend, just about. That's it. Pretty much. That was my workout.
So, it was a real chainsaw, fake blade, I'm assuming.
There was no chain on the
On that,
chainsaw.
so.
Oh, that's what I meant, sorry.
Yeah, there was no chain.
But you still had to like start that thing up, and
Yeah.
that chain only weighs about half a pound. The chainsaw.
Although I did saw that log, I did get to do the chainsaw with that one. There was a switch out into a different chainsaw. That was fun. And then they tricked it up so that it was spewing more smoke.
That must have been fun.
They call it what is it? They made the mix more rich. The oil and gas. They riched up the mix. It's all blue and smoky.
I could just listen to you all day, just keep repeating all of it. Yeah.
In a world.
Oh, too soon. Yes, he's dead.
Oh, that's real?
Now I made you feel bad. I'm taking you down a notch, Tyler. You're taking too much attention away from Alan because he won't talk. But anyway, were there any scenes in that film that were especially difficult to shoot? I mean, like I said, you have a lot of physical comedy. You get your ass kicked pretty much. This guy's being Romeo over here. Was there anything that was especially hard to shoot, but you actually were like, screw this?
This will probably make Alan mad. I didn't have a single hard day of shooting on that. No, Alan took the brunt of the punishment on this film, and now he's hurt his hand. Way to go, way to go. Really. Christy.
More punishment.
No, Alan had to be covered in like various stages of bee stings and be hung upside down and be like, put through the ringer. And
They didn't actually cut his finger off because I see it right there.
No, they did. That's
They
really
reattached.
incredible.
That's a really Hollywood. I mean, come on, that's a great job.
The only really hard day that I had, I would say, where I was like, this is really exhausting, is when I fall into the grave and, what's his name? One of those stupid ass college kids falls in onto his own spear and lands on me. We had to, keep in mind, this is like the tundra. We're in Calgary. We're in the fucking tundra, basically. It's permafrost. The ground is frozen all year round in Calgary. I don't know if people know that or not, but it is. And you dig a hole into that, and it's cold. It's like a freezer. It's not like a refrigerator. It's like a freezer. And we dug like an 8-foot hole into that, and I just had to lie in there all day with Katrina Bowden while we did these effects. Oh, I know. She's so like butterface, you know what I mean? And like I had to lie there and just freeze my ass off. And then I also had to go into a lake over and over again that had previously frozen the day before.
Yeah, that was.
And I got hypothermia, and I lost control of my limbs for about 10 minutes, and they had this like little hot tub, although I would call it a tepid tub.
Yeah.
That they were like, oh, you know, it's warm. I was like, this is like 40 degrees. Well, it's warmer than the lake. So get in there, and that's all I did. I did like 5. But those are my hardest days. I think Alan's got better stories in that regard, so.
Yeah. There was stuff, you know, I had a huge respect, while we were shooting, I said I have a much bigger respect for people who do horror movies, because you scream a lot. There's a lot of screaming, again, over and over and over. Yeah, a lot of reacting to shit that's not there. Yeah. So it's always very heightened emotion that you're constantly in, so it's somewhat exhausting emotionally. And then we would come to work and our clothes would be covered in blood, especially mine from that, whatever it was called, the wood chipper. I'm the wood chipper from that guy, and so you'd have to wear the same clothes because they can't match it. So you come in and those things can stand up on their own, and they'd squirt them down with water. It'd be cold, and they'd just squirt you down with water and work it all in. All right, now, and then put more blood on your face and get it stuck in your beard, and these goddamn, man.
He's exhausted talking about it. Every time he would come out of his trailer, I would be like, what can I get you, man? You look miserable. I just like was so mad every time he got out of his trailer. It was great.
I had to jump in mud and stuff, but it was fun. We shot it very fast. How long was the shoot?
24 days.
Yeah, it was so fast. And we would go home at night and just go over what we did, saying, what did we do? What did we do?
There were many van rides home where we were like, are we making a piece of shit? Like, is this stupid? Like, did they even cover what I was doing today when I had all that fucking blood on my face? And like, did they shoot that? And Alan and I would be like, I mean, we weren't trying to rip it apart, we genuinely were like, okay, no, they got that.
Yeah.
And I had the thing, and Alan would be like, no, I think we got that.
There was this great hand that they had that they cut off the fingers to that had like blood, so they could do, once my fingers were cut off, it would be all this great stuff, and they've been showing it to me from day one, and look how good it looks and how great. Then we get to the thing, they cut the fingers off the wrong hand. There's stuff like that, where you're shooting fast.
So the stupid prosthetic didn't work after that.
And so they're like, oh, well, why don't we just fake it and just use the wrong hand? And he's like, we're not gonna use the wrong hand. We just lost it, guys. We're just gonna have to let it go. Let the hand go. Let it go.
Move on.
So there was this stuff like that made us afraid, and when we saw it, we were very happy.
Yeah, I remember we went to the Jim Henson Studios actually, in Hollywood, and which is kind of a treat in itself. It's like you pull up and there's like Kermit the Frog and this big greeting you at the gate, and you go in, and we watched it in this screening room with Thomas Augsburger, who's our executive producer, who we'll talk more about later. And he showed us the screening, and we brought some friends, and we hadn't seen a lick of it. Like we had no idea what we had made. We thought, well, great, we made a good friendship out of this. You know, that was a nice way to put it. We were like, long-lasting friendship. That's what we got out of Tucker and Dale. And then we watched it, and we were both like, oh,
we got
pretty fucking cool, man. And then we got accepted into Sundance, and we were like, I guess we're not out of our minds. This is kind of cool.
Yeah. And we're gonna make another one.
Yeah! He's such a blurter. He blurts.
That's why he hasn't been talking as much. He's saving it away.
But what was great was, I was in South by Southwest last week, and
Me too, by the way. I didn't even know you were there.
Really? Well, Tucker and
Not
Dale
good friends.
went to South by Southwest and won the audience award.
We went
Midnight Audience
twice,
Award.
actually. We got invited after we won the Midnight Audience Award. We were invited back the next year for an encore. Do you know that?
No.
They put us as the gala screening of the Midnight screening program the next year.
Was I there? I don't remember that. I don't remember anyone telling me that. So there was the local press was asking about Tucker and Dale. It's something they were very, very interested in, and that question invariably comes up: are you going to make another one? Because it seems primed that horror movies definitely you can do sequels, many sequels, and would we do it with ours? And my answer was no. Here's the thing: it almost happened, but they got real close, and then the producer-y type guys screwed it up. So, and the director got a big movie, and he's off doing something, so it's not going to happen.
That's a direct quote, by the way. In the article, it says the producer-y type guys screwed it up. That comes into the story soon.
So I got an email 3 days ago, from the producer-y type guys with the link to that interview. Saying, he said to both of us, he says, guys, we need to talk, evidently, because there is, we have an outline, and we're honing in on who we have to write it, and we really want to make another one. And usually when a director or a writer says, I want to make another one, it means one thing, but when the producer says we want to make another one, then there's a much more, yeah, you're going to make another one.
Yeah, the beginning of the email said the first thing slated for his production schedule this year is a Tucker and Dale sequel. So that's about as official as it can get. If you guys are excited by that, we're really
we can say it is in development. Is that the term?
In development.
in development, and Alan and I are fiercely, and have been since day one, guarding the quality of said sequel. So don't worry, we will not, Alan and I, you know, speaking for ourselves, will never make a shitty sequel. If you guys are worried, it will never be a shitty sequel. There may be other actors in a shitty sequel, but it will not be Alan and I, so.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Gangsta.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah.
But we do like the log line that's come through. It's good. There are a couple Canadian content things that are involved with the fact that it was made in Canada, and there was, you know, an interest in making a sequel in Canada. And I'm currently working on a movie with a writer named Jason Filiatro. Woo! Yeah! Woo! He's awesome. Don't attempt saying that name without having 2 or 3 drinks first. There's been a list of Canadian writers that I've personally been vetting, and one of them, Jason Filiatro, who I'm starting this new movie with, is first in line to help write one of the first new drafts. And he's incredible. He's the best writer I've ever worked with in my life. So I just want to reassure you, again, further, that there will not be any shitty sequel to this movie. So.
Yeah. Out of curiosity, are you thinking of taking on like an executive producer role by chance or anything like that?
Fuck yeah.
I mean,
I want to. I don't think that'll happen. But.
I'm just saying you're both very dedicated to characters, obviously, and your fan base at this point.
Yeah.
Look at you, just make me laugh. So was there, you know, we're gonna throw it over to the audience in just a second, but just for the two of you, I mean, you talk about it a bit, you really weren't sure until you saw your first screening of it what the hell you got your guys into. At this point, I'm taking it as a pretty pleasant surprise in life what this film has become. It's kind of blown up in a weird way.
Absolutely. There's no reason why anybody should sing this. I mean, it wasn't like, you know, at every theater in the country and was, you know, publicized and big billboards or anything like that. My mother, she didn't do that. Although she said, your movie's here, and she doesn't sound like that, but your movie's here in Dallas, but it's only playing at midnight. And I think it's in the theater that they closed down. I was like, oh shit. They're not really releasing this movie, they're just doing some kind of herky-jerky release to say they released it.
Some like contractual obligation.
Yeah.
Put it in some theaters.
Yeah. So it went to Netflix, and I think that's how a lot of people found it. Definitely was a huge word of mouth. And
That's you guys,
yeah, that's you guys. So it's thanks to y'all. Yeah. I've got a lot of people who told me that story about sharing it around, and that's how it's gotten a fan.
I always liken it to one of my favorite things in life is like sharing music with people. Not music sharing. I'm not talking about Napster, but like when you have that great opportunity with someone that you care about their opinion and you show them an album or a song or a movie where you feel like it's yours, like you have this thing and you're like, check this out, man. And it genuinely, every time you show it to someone, you get a rise out of it, and like boner. You get a boner out of it. Just to make it plain, because Alan gets confused. You get a boner every time you show this movie or this music to somebody. That's this movie. That's the only way this movie ever got anywhere, was by people caring about it so much that they felt like it was theirs and they could show it to their really close friends who they knew might dig it. Or even took a chance and showed it to people they thought, oh, you're gonna fucking hate this, but I want to make you watch it anyway. Which is the best victory, right? When you show someone a movie, they're like, you're gonna hate this, and they love it. That's what this movie is. So again, it's like a real genuine thank you to all the people who have like shared it with your friends, and your friends have shared it and whatever. So thank you for that. Otherwise the movie would never be, I mean, look at it, there's like, I don't know, what? At least 50 people in this room?
Do you want to take a picture? Is that what you're doing?
No, this is is it time for this? I have some music I want to share with you. Oh, yeah. I don't know if I'm going to do it right now. But,
He's actually going to get Joss Whedon on the phone.
No, but I do need help, and I want to take, I got a low battery, so maybe I got to do it while I have something. I just need to do this for a friend of mine, and don't be talking about it on the web because it'll ruin the thing. But I just need all of y'all for a friend of mine to say, on the count of 3, happy birthday, Nathan. Okay?
Oh,
and
which Nathan that is.
well, I'm gonna do like this, and it's gonna be possibly in his video for his birthday. All right, so I'm gonna start it. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday!
Tyler, we'll pretend that was for Nathan Basil.
Well done, guys. Thank you.
We all know which Nathan.
Did y'all have questions? Anybody out there?
Well, that's what we're
Yeah, let's open the.
But I know how to do this. I think I know what I'm doing, okay? That guy right there.
Me?
Yeah, you.
All right, awesome. Are you guys going to have anything to do with Before the Mask then? You guys keep on bringing up Nathan Basil.
They're not scheduled to, but we'd love to have Tyler on board. I'm producing it, actually. I should have said
The
that.
sequel, you are?
Yeah.
Oh, man. What's your question? Sorry?
Well, like,
He wants you to be a part of it.
Well, I was just
Oh.
saying if you guys were actually a part of it at all.
No, not as it
Just wanna make
stands.
sure. Okay.
Executive producer over here.
We'll talk. We'll talk.
All right, we'll talk.
I left that
We're
out. I
in, you
didn't-
know what? Officially, we're in talks.
That's all development.
The sequel.
Gotta go on IMDb now and enter that really quick. Okay, next question. That's a good question though, and thank you, because if it happens now, it's your fault.
Hey, I'm
Yeah.
fine with that.
All right, anybody else? You gotta have some questions up here.
There's a hand way in the back
Uh-oh.
here. Look at that.
Oh,
Gonna bring-
yes!
Microphone back.
Man on the street, Alan Tudyk. Look at this. We've got a reporter on the street. Alan, what do you have down there?
Devin
My name is
Sawa.
Devin Sawa. You may recognize me. So what is your guys' like craziest experience from doing like appearances like this? Do you have any stories, funny experiences, crazy things you've signed? Tell us about these conventions you've done.
I'm sorry, your name is Devin Sawa?
I am, yeah, actually.
You are not, because I grew up with that guy.
I am not Devin
No,
Sawa.
I didn't think so. Sit down, man.
Thank you for your question.
Wrong festival.
But see, Alan left his phone up
You
here.
want to know what like the
I'm gonna
craziest
call
shit
Joss
that's
Whedon.
happened in this capacity is that right? Devin Sawa? Well, listen, Devin Sawa. This may be my favorite moment actually right now. This panel. This is fucking great. And I will say that I went to another. Are they called festivals, by the way, or is it like a convention? Convention. I went to one called. That's the indication right there how few of these I've done. I went to one other con in in Philly, I believe.
New Jersey.
New Jersey.
It was close to Philly though, Monster Mania.
Monster Mania. And that was my little brother, like I mentioned before, was like, you gotta come and do this thing, it'll be fun, we'll get to hang out, we don't see each other a ton because he lives in Toronto and I live in LA. And I went and did it with him, and I genuinely was just like bowled over by like the depth of character with the people that show up at this kind of event. Honestly, I really relate. I really relate more than I think I ever thought I would. It's really cool, man. It's like you guys are a bunch of cool people. And I was talking last night with a few people about like why they do this. You know, why you come here and put on the makeup or you do the fan fiction or whatever. And a few people were explaining to me like, well, it's just like my time to take off my suit and do like get my shine on, do something that I really care about. And go meet with other like-minded people who aren't going to be like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's
You know? And it's a non-judgment zone, and I really respect that, and I really respect how much you guys care about the things that you like to watch, and how much dedication you put in as fans. So that for me, there's nothing weird yet. It's only my second con. I'm sure some weird shit will happen. It hasn't yet. So that's a cue. If anybody wants to come talk to me later and make some weird shit happen. No, it's been amazing, Devin Sawa. Thank you, Devin Sawa.
I signed the guy's foot. His prosthetic foot. He was a Iraq war vet. He pulled his foot up and stuck it on the table and I signed it. Also, a guy brought me a box set of Firefly. And he said, there's a story with this. He was another vet, and he said he was one of the first to liberate Iraq, and he was in Saddam's palace. Before too many people were in Saddam's palace, he's like, and that's where I found this. So it was really hard getting it out? Yeah. I believed him. He's like, it was really hard getting it out. You're not allowed to take treasure, so they call it treasure, and he snuck it out through Kuwait. Got it home and I signed it. It's like, holy shit, Saddam Hussein was a brown coat.
That's not weird, that is fucking incredible. That is amazing.
Nuts.
All right, do we have more questions? That gentleman.
Man on the street, Alan Tudyk, what do you have down there? Don't be shy, get in there.
So you guys touched on this a little bit, but
Your name's
how
Scott,
much?
right? Isn't that Scott?
It is Scott.
Yeah.
How much of the dialogue between you guys was improv, and how much of it was scripted?
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you, Scott. I think our reporter is returning to the studio. He's here.
Could you repeat that?
Yeah, we didn't get that. It didn't come in very clear. The level of improv as opposed to script, it was like kind of a fair shake, I would call it. You know, there was not a lot of ego on the set between Eli and Morgan about what had to be. Well, that's not true. There were things that had to be. There were points that had to be hit. But other than that, Alan and I were really allowed to just kind of let her rip, and it wasn't ever like just for the first time on camera, like, oh, we just tried something. There was a couple things, but I like to call it a sort of premeditated improv, where you discuss ideas you've had, try things in rehearsal, and then you go to camera and you just try putting in some of these things, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But it's already been kind of.
Keep breaking it. Here, take this one.
It's already been discussed at least a little bit. That was the process, I feel like, mostly. There were things Alan just sort of just fucking did.
It's kind of a big deal.
You too. I mean, yeah, just those things that you do.
Certain things aren't worth mentioning before you try them, you know? Otherwise, you
Like pouring around your head. I mean, just do it.
Yeah, and it's tough to remember all that stuff. I remember it's heavy for half a guy. That was like,
Are you okay? That was 100%.
Yeah.
That was not discussed. Yeah. We were all busting a gut behind the fucking.
So here is one that I'm sure may come up from a fan, but Tyler, what is your favorite role of Tucker's? And
You mean Alan Tudyk or Tucker? Because
No,
Tucker doesn't
Tucker.
act. Tucker's not an actor.
shit. Okay, things that Tucker said. Yeah. Okay. Now that you
Start
contradicted
again.
me, I'm gonna start over now.
Start over.
what is your favorite line of Alan Tudyk as Tucker? And vice versa, Alan, what is your favorite line of Tyler Labine as Dale? There, I got it right.
I think one of the ones that made me laugh the most, because I had no idea how I was going to say it, was either the I'll provide the finger sandwiches. that for me was like, I was like, what a genius thing to say. I'm sorry, but you think about the layers of comedy in there. That's like,
It's like the corniest.
no, we were all like this. Oh shit, we hired the right guy. And then I think there's a couple of the more touching moments where he peppers it in with humor, like when we shake hands after he's dying on the tree stump, and he goes, "That hurt very much." And I let go of his hand, and we're like, and just, I mean, that's what makes Alan so like mesmerizing as an actor, is that he can, don't laugh, Dad.
He just poured out his heart to you.
My
You're laughing
cheeks
at
are
him.
flush, I'm starting to tear up. You're laughing at me. Taking me right back to the days of
Look at his
shooting.
face, he's still laughing at you.
That slow laugh at.
You know what I love about...
Wait, I'm not finished. The thing about Alan is that he has that ability, more than any actor I've ever seen, to be real and be funny at the same time. Alan never makes a joke, even though it is a joke and it's fucking hilarious. You never go, he made a joke. It comes from a very, very real place, and that's why it's so funny. And he's the best of that in the biz, in my opinion.
In the biz.
In the biz. There's a biz that we work in.
I love...
Alan's the best in that biz.
Anticipating your question where you said it was going to be, I love it when you say, whoa, pancakes. You don't like the pancakes? I'll get back because it's like so much around, just like on this, on the page, it's like, oh, you don't like, is it the pancakes? Oh, is it the pancakes? Oh, is it the pancakes? You like pancakes?
I'm so upset for her.
Yeah, it's great. It's beautiful, and it sets their relationship. He's huge. You already know he's got a big heart. Not that he's stupid, but that's just beautiful.
A beautiful stupidity.
We have time for one more question, and that guy is the one that popped up, the red shirt dude, not brown shirt.
Man on the street. Here we go.
Yes, so you had a question?
That could have been on fire me again.
We'll edit that out later, Alan. Don't worry.
I know for me it was refreshing to see on the first Tucker and Dale, just a lot of those stereotypes be broken as you guys just are in the wrong place at the wrong time. With making the sequel, are you guys hoping to expound upon that, maybe break down some new stereotypes? Because I know I would love to see that.
Well, we're going to wait for our man to get back into the studio. That is, if you're a question I can't handle on my own. And we're joined now by Alan Tudyk, everybody.
Thank you for the question. We don't know.
So, for anybody who came in late, just one more time, Tucker and Dale 2 is in development right now.
And I will genuinely answer your question briefly here, sir. Yes, we intend to blow that joke out of the water. We want to knock the doors off this thing and explore every genre of horror film that we can lampoon or spoof, and do it hopefully just as well, if not better, than the first one. So, yeah.
Thank you guys so much for coming out.
Can I get, while y'all are still there, can I do another one? Just y'all, you can stand for this. Just say, I want my nerd HQ. Okay. Here we go. All right. 1, 2, 3. Let's do it again and then we'll do it for real. All right. 1, 2, 3.